Hey, what's up everybody? Landon with LMR.com. It's Dyno Day. The car we're going to be dynoing today is a 2024 Dark Horse Mustang. The fine folks over at Sykora Family Ford there in West Texas just had this car delivered. They gave us a call and asked us if we wanted to check it out, dyno it, drive it around, and just kind of get to experience a Dark Horse, and we said sure, why not? So big thanks to those guys, especially Jason over there for letting us do this. If you're in the market for a new Ford vehicle or even a used vehicle for that matter, go check out Sykora Family Ford there in West Texas. I'll leave their website down in the description below. 2024 Dark Horse here. This is a carbonized gray non-handling pack. As far as the options go, it has the premier interior option, the grabber blue brake calipers, and it also has the painted stripe. Personally, I'm not a big stripe guy. The painted stripes on this particular car, they kind of roll with it. They really do. Being the carbonized gray and then with that center black section of stripe, which kind of transcends into that outer, almost darker gray, magnetic-y, is that a word, magnetic-y? Pairs well with this car. Like I said, me personally, not really a stripe guy, but if that's something you're into, the stripes are cool. However, with the painted stripes, not a cheap option. I think it's $54.95 at the time of this video. You have to pony up some cash if the painted stripe option is something you're wanting. But other than that, obviously it's a brand new car. It's all stock, Gen 4 Coyote. The Dark Horses were rated at 500 horsepower, 418 pound-feet of torque. They had the TR Tremec TR3160 transmission, which is the same transmission in the GT350 and the later model Mach 1 Mustangs. Two-piece drive shaft. This is a 373 gear car, and then out back, that is a 19-inch wheel with a 275/35/19 tire. And whenever I picked it up from Sykora, I did stop at the gas station and put a little bit of 93 octane fuel in it. So if y'all watch our dyno videos, y'all know the drill. We're gonna make a quick trip around this Dark Horse, make sure we're good to go, and then we're gonna make a hit. All right, people, let's go ahead and check out some numbers here on this 2024 Dark Horse. We did a few runs. We were having a little bit of trouble with our pickup. We were able to get that resolved. First pull here is going to be in red, 416.6 horsepower at 7,300 RPM, and then 363.7 pound-feet of torque at 4,900 RPM. And we did a second run and it almost mimicked the first run, 416.2 horsepower at 7,100 RPM, and then 362.7 pound-feet of torque at 4,900 RPM. And what I thought was strange, on the second run, the car actually stopped me at 7,100, which I thought was kind of strange, but we really didn't rabbit hole it much and necessarily chase more power and more torque. It's a stock car, it's naturally aspirated. The thing has 50 miles on it. With that being said, there's plenty of dyno runs out there on the internet where people have compared, the break-in period per se, or they would dyno the car with not a lot of miles, then they went and put some miles on it, came back and dynoed it, and it made the same, it made less, it may have made just a little bit more horsepower. So I don't necessarily think that's 100% accurate. Again, the common denominator here is the car and the dyno and of course the environment that we're in. Every car is going to be a little bit different. As crazy that is to say, that it's just the way it is. Every dyno is going to be a little bit different, and then of course the conditions in which folks are dynoing cars are always going to be a little bit different. We always use the SAE correction factor on everything we do, just so when we want to kind of compare stuff, we do have a sense of some sort of standard, I guess you could say, whenever we start to compare some things. Speaking of the Dark Horse, does it really make 500 horsepower? I don't know. There's really obviously no way to prove that other than you pull the engine out and you take it to an engine dyno to see what it does at the flywheel. Ford rates it at 500 horsepower, 418 pound-feet. That's at the flywheel. So once you move that through the drivetrain, these are your rear wheel horsepower and your rear wheel torque number. That's about 17% drivetrain loss, give or take. I just pulled that out of my head just real quick, give or take a little bit, I would say. 15% drivetrain loss, you're closer to 425, 430 horsepower, and that's kind of where I feel that these cars should be. But horsepower and torque aside, the car's expensive. Yes, we get that at the time of this video. Just about everything in life is expensive. But looking at the car, I like it. Can appreciate that Ford is still putting a V8, in a sports car, and I can still shift gears with a 6-speed manual transmission. You can't say that for any other car at the time of this video. Speaking of comparisons, just to do it, I'm going to pull up the runs from the 2024 Mustang GT that we purchased in Ohio, drove it all the way back here to Texas. I'm going to pull those numbers up and just to kind of give some comparison sake of what we're looking at. That car is a 10R80 car, 315 rear gear. So because of that gearing combination, we had to make that run in 5th gear with that car just so we can see the entire RPM range range. I explained that in that 2024 dyno video. If we pull it in 7th, the speed limiter would play factor, and you know, it would stop our run relatively short. So that's the reasoning for the 5th gear pull. But if we look at that run, that car made 420.4 horsepower at 7,400 RPM, so a touch higher RPM, and then torque was 366.2 pound-feet of torque, 5,000 RPM. That GT is making more horsepower than this Dark Horse in 5th gear. If we were able to pull that car in 7th gear, that's probably even more power than what you're seeing with 420 horsepower and 366 pound-feet of torque. And then when we dynoed that car, yes, it had, you know, a few more miles on it, but it was hot as hell outside. It was late August here in Texas, you know, it was 95 degrees in the shop. There you go. I think I'm gonna stop it there. You know, y'all know me, I can sit here and go on forever. I like the Dark Horse car, I really do. Again, you know, I'm not really a huge fan of that painted stripe, but that's just my perception, and that's just, you know, what I think and what I like. But it's good to have options, because there's not, you know, a billion Landons in this world. There's a bunch of different people that like different things. That's probably why Ford has a painted stripe option for those folks that do like that. But the grabber blue calipers, that does break up some of the monotony of the carbonized gray with, you know, kind of the matte or satin gray wheels. I do like those. Those definitely stand out with this color combo. Car drives nice, it really does. That 6-speed transmission shifts well. The Tremec, the rev match feature, which you can turn off if that's something you don't like. I like it. This is I think the 2nd car I've driven with the rev match feature whenever you're downshifting gears. It's very responsive, and it's Ford's got that thing dialed in. You know, I'd love to take this car out. I'd like maybe Coda or Motorsport Ranch Crescent. You know, those are just tracks that are local to us here in the Waco area, and really put that to the test. That's it, guys. I'm not going to talk any longer. I will beat y'all's ears to death. But there you go, 2024 Dark Horse. Thanks again, Sykora Family Ford. Again, their information down in the description below. If y'all value what we do, consider liking the video, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and turning on notifications. And then till we catch you in the next dyno video, for all things 2024 Mustang, keep it right here at the Real Enthusiasts, LMR.com.